Is it the woman or the guy that decided to use Gorilla Glue in her hair and
Yes,
got her
I saw
entire
that.
hair, and then she's trying to sue because it says do not. It just doesn't say on it you can't put it in your hair.
It's kind of, yeah, and it goes like this.
Common sense has just gone out the window.
What it is.
Obviously, this is Mark. I'm taking over the Monday Club channel because they have got a new sponsor, and that is Hypervolt. I think there are some key benefits to Hypervolt that really help us as installers, but there are also some key benefits of Hypervolt I want to speak about right at the outset. And one of those is something that is going to revolutionise stuff for us as installers, and that is fronting the grant payment back to us at the point the work's completed. So at the moment, for those of you who are involved with EV charge points, you'll realise when a grant application is made, we pass that saving straight onto the customer at the point of sale, and sometimes we can be waiting months to see that back. So if you're installing a few charge points every week, even as a small electrical contractor, that can soon add up to thousands and thousands of pounds you've got tied up in government hands, and with no guarantee of when you're going to get that back. But regardless of that, Hypervolt have put a system in place where you can have that money fronted back to you direct from them at the point the work's completed. And that is an incredible thing. I think that is brilliant to help us as installers, and it shows Hypervolt aren't just focused on selling stuff to actual end users, they're looking after the installer network as well, which is absolutely mega.
Hi guys, welcome back to Monday Club. It's just me and Sam in tonight. Sam is poorly, bad and ill. I've had a crappy day, so book yourselves in for a very enthusiastic and insightful episode.
Week of misery.
Yes, that's the one. Go on, Sam, tell everyone why you're ill, or do you want to just get in quite quickly about your stupid T-shirts with a light number on it?
Yes. Okay. Come on. Le Spark T-shirts. Go and check it out in the show notes. Go to the website. You get T-shirts, jumpers, hoodies, shorts. The whole lot's going to be out soon. And they all match. So you can match your... you can have matching tracksuit. You can have matching T-shirt to shorts. All that sort of stuff. Remember...
Magic.
I'm fat, but I'm stylish.
Remember, fat don't crack.
I've been so ill this week, man. Like, honestly. Let me first of all, the worst thing is when you've got to go to work when you're ill anyway, right? You can't just have a day off because I'm staying away. So I can't just sit in the house that they're paying for and pay me to be off ill. I just don't feel like that's right. So I've been going through it this week.
Your internet's really good, by the way.
Is it bad?
It's in and out.
Oh, don't say that.
It's all right. If you sit still, just turn your phone Wi-Fi off. Might get a bit better.
It is off. It's on my phone. Oh, man.
Oh, it's coming off you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so... And we're back. So I've just... I've been really ill, coughing and stuff like that. Felt really rough. So I've just had a shower, shave, try and make myself feel a bit better. I bought my... this is homemade honey bourbon. It's 50%. Just give me a few licks before I go to sleep tonight.
Helps you sleep easier.
Yes, it does.
That's the problem with the difference between self-employed and you being off ill. You look at me with the bad back and then getting COVID, having 7 weeks off work, not a penny in my pocket.
Yes, that's rough, man. And like, this is a problem that tradesmen. So, like yourself, right? Some tradesmen can earn really good money working for themselves and build a nice, but it does come at a cost. There's no like free rides in this game, and the cost is either you work through your injuries and your problems, or you don't. Remember, most like yourself, although you've got a thriving electrical company, you've also got a thriving YouTube. So, where a lot of people, they'd have to fight. They might be able to afford a month off.
Yeah, we worked it out. If you add up, because I had to pay Adam, it wasn't fair on him for me to say take it as holiday, or Adam's wages for 7 weeks, where the half's wages, pay for the truck, pay for the van, pay for the mortgage, pay for the unit, all in all, and then paying for hundreds of other things in the background. I think I worked it out. It probably cost me about $6,000 to have 7 weeks off work, out of pocket, the money that I'd saved up, just spent.
Yeah.
it was easily done. And obviously, when I'm sat at home as well, you're bored, so you're buying a few things online and you're spending money which you shouldn't.
Be fair though, Nick, you're murder for doing that.
Oh, I'm terrible for ordering things.
Yeah,
Terrible.
terrible.
But yeah, people, I can see people in a lot worse situations than I was in, because I still had YouTube to fall back on, made a few little videos here and there, and I had a big catalog built up, so I could still release them. And I will do at some point a video on how much. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but like I can do ad revenue, how much we earn off ad revenue and per video is like my very first video that I took off work for a day was to film my van tour video. So obviously a day's wages down the drain, and then paid my mate a little bit for him to come and video it. And that video's just hit 280,000 views, I think.
Wow.
And that's the return on that from the day it was posted till now. I think it's about 1,200 quid. I've had just from ad revenue.
See, that's what I'm saying. So where you're in quite a fortunate position to have that time off, a lot of tradesmen don't get that really. And you look at like, I do get paid time off and stuff, but where I'm running a job, it's not as if I can phone up that morning and say can't come in today, I'm too ill. It's a liberty.
So you lose your job pretty quick, innit? Yeah.
But there is that thing, isn't there? There's that thing that a lot of people go on about. It's like, you could be the illest person in the world. If you phone up and say I'm not coming in, they go, oh yeah, chancing it, Monday Club, like the namesake of our video, of our podcast, Monday Club. It's like, yeah, he's chancing it, Monday Club, or whatever. Oh, he ain't that ill. Do you know what I mean? But the reality is, you might just not be able to do it. But it is what it is. We power through. I've had quite a good week. Well, I say that. Done quite a bit of electrical this week. Because obviously, so we get the drawings for the So just to recap, I'm doing 2 X-ray rooms and an angiogram room or fluoroscopy room. Can't really remember what's going in there. Anyway, so we manage everything on the site, from the lead walls to the flooring to the furniture, everything that goes into these rooms we manage. But we also get to do really cool stuff, like the design for where the stuff's going is already in, but we design the containment routes. We haven't just got, it's not like commercial where you get a drawing and off you go. No, so you have to look at all the different drawings. So I spent a whole day. You get 3 sets of drawings, one from the company, one from Siemens or Philips or someone like that who are installing the stuff, their requirements, and then you get all the other services like aircon and all that stuff. They give, and you have to go through and you have to work out where you're going to be putting your containment, where your drops are, ordering all the gear and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed it. It's like a real next step, like designing.
Is it mostly plastic or conduit?
No, it's a massive mixture, because so the containment above the ceiling obviously is all like basket, tray, and trunking, and then you have your drops down. But interestingly, on this job, because it's a Nightingale hospital, so it used to be a B&Q, so they bought the lease.
Right, okay, yeah.
I think B&Q still own it, funnily enough. So they bought the lease, they turned it into a Nightingale. And now it's being turned from a Nightingale to a functioning hospital. So it's all new in there. So everything's new. So you're not drilling holes in the wall and then fishing a bit of thing down to... It's all going in surface medical trunking. It's something that Marshall Tofflets do. It's actual medical trunking, designed for the medical industry. I'm not sure. I haven't got my hands on any yet. That's all.
It's going to be the same sort of plastic that the sockets and everything I'm fitting at the moment, like the Schneider ones with the antimicrobial plastic on it, so it kills like most of the bacteria that even sits on it.
Yeah, I expect that's exactly what it is, and I think it has less like gaps for dirt to get in and stuff, germs.
That's fair, yeah.
So it's all surface. So all the outlets and stuff will be done surface, but you won't be able to take like a dado right around the whole room, because there's other things got to go in there, like PDBs and stuff like that. So it's really, really exciting, and it's really nice to be able to get your teeth into designing it.
It's nice to see that you're enjoying work, to be honest, because that's a big thing for you. From since I've known you, you've always plodded and done the bare minimum, tried to get away with it. Without sounding like a knob, that's the way you've been, because you haven't really had your heart into it. But like now, you stepped up and you're enjoying work, which is nice to see.
Do you know what it is? I think with the when you're working as a subby, it's soulless. So when you're a subcontractor going to a job, you turn up and they're already looking for a reason to pump you most of the time. If you turned up late, this is something. Now this is interesting. Agency workers, I defended them for years. Those of you who don't know, I started a union for electrician agency workers in London, and honestly, the agency workers that we've had turn up, and all right, they haven't been electrical, but they've been like doing other services and that, and labourers. Mate, I can see why they get such a bad rap. I can see it. The attitude is
what
abysmal.
Doing the right, yeah.
It's not necessarily because they're doing the bare minimum. It's, like they turn up, they don't care, they don't bring nothing with them, they expect the world for nothing, and it's quite grueling, because you're like, listen, I used to be one of you. Only like 3 or 4 months ago, I was still on the circuit doing stuff like you're doing. But it was only when I decided to change my whole mentality when it comes to turning up to a job. Like I changed my mentality about a year and a half ago. But I got on so much better on these jobs, because they're like, oh, hold on, we got a good one here. And I was getting better jobs. I was staying on jobs longer. And then this job, they just said to me, listen, do you want to come and work for us? So it pays off.
It just shows you put the effort in.
Yeah. But with this job, I'm really enjoying it. I really like designing the install. I even jumped on the tools this week. I jumped on the tools because, you do a lot of sitting about, a lot of standing about, a lot of fannying about, making phone calls and stuff. But reality is, I have my tools with me. I knew what containment needed going in. It's an empty room. I'm in charge. I don't have to answer to no one. It's my design. I was like, come on, let's have it. I was in.
That was a dream, to be fair. That's nice. But then the lads can see you doing that, being high management. You're getting stuck in as well. They respect you more for it.
Mate, I love it. I smashed in some containment this week, chomping at the bit. We didn't order enough cantilever uni-strut brackets, so I've got them coming tomorrow. So tomorrow I've got a full day. I've got deliveries. I've got new people coming to site. I've got to get inducted. But once that's all done, I've got rows and rows of containment to do. And listen, guilty pleasure of mine is containment. I do like doing containment. For years, what you find in the electrical industry, in where I come from, commercial and industrial, you get what's called metal munchers. People who only ever do metal containment. Because I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's not difficult. And you can literally go your whole career just doing metal munching. There's people who
they don't ever pull in cables that are classed as electricians.
Yeah. Like I could find you an electrician right now with a gold card who could do the most trunking in a day, do all the stuff beautifully. Don't know how to wire it.
Yeah.
Do a two-way switch on it. And so my week's been awesome. Apart from the fact I was really ill, I had to work late. I had to work late last night. Unacceptable. Got paid handsomely for it though. I was like, whoo.
Why'd you have to work late?
I had to go to another job round the corner to help pull in an armoured. They said, "Oh, would you mind going pull in an armoured? Like, go take one of your labourers and the guy you're working with and go and pull in an armoured after hours." I was like, "Yeah, why not? I'm stuck in here. I was ill as a dog, but you still want to put your best foot forward." Went in there, and it was griefy, but fun. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
how big was it?
It was a 50mm armoured. forecourt.
Oh, right. So nothing massive then.
No, but it was the dumb thing they'd done is they'd left it outside. What they should have done is brought it in when it was
Freezing
delivered.
cold.
So it's freezing cold. Ain't trying to bend. And it's still the reason we had to do it after hours is because there was less people mooching about, and they had to go across a corridor and down another corridor. But even so, people don't care. People don't care.
Yeah.
They just walk at you like, you move out my way, and you're like, you're up a ladder, you've got like just been hit in the head with an armoured, and you're like that, and they're like, excuse me, and you're like, all right, 1 sec, like if I let this go, the whole ceiling's going to come down. Relax. Do you know what I mean? But
Oh dear.
yeah, man. So
Other than that,
what have you been doing?
Normal work as usual, but I just had a nightmare today. So I went and quoted up a couple of weeks ago, friend of the family from years ago. There's outside light on the front. We want it changed to an up and down light. And can you do exactly the same on the other side of the door? Yeah, no problem. Easy enough.
Up and down light.
Yeah, it's just like an LED down and up that shines up and down. Said, yeah, no problem at all. 2 sockets in one of the lads' bedrooms, 2 double sockets in another lad's bedroom, and change the outside floodlight. Said, yeah, sound. Shouldn't take too long. Adam, go and start the sockets in the bedrooms, mate, and I'll just faff around with the outside lights because it was cold. When took the first outside light off, it was a solar light. There's no cables run to it.
Oh.
And it looked like a normal one, but I just never closely inspected it on the quote. And I was like, oh, God. So we ended up, their house was one of the weird ones where the front of the house, the roof comes down. You got windows in it, but the roof comes down to like the bottom, the first ground floor.
Yeah.
So the porch was built into it. So I ended up having to push loads of roof tiles up to lift the felt back to access the void because they don't have a loft hatch on the inside. Oh,
mate. And the thing is, I know that you're quite adept with other trades, so you know your way around other trades. But I wouldn't do that lightly, lifting back felt and all that.
Oh, I've done it loads of times. I've had this before where I ended up having to take, because the very last row of tiles, 99% of the time, have all got nails in them in the lath. So pushing them back, nails out, because I don't want to be cutting the felts because I don't want to take, the water protection. So I know really you need to take 6 to 8 out in a row to be able to get enough of a flap that I can get my hands in. So yeah, took them off, ended up taking the next row up as well, about 8 of them off, passing them down to Adam. And as soon as he did that, he went upstairs, pulling it round, could see through the gap. I thought, right, I'll go and take a floorboard up in the lad's room. Because there was a porch. More annoying as well, there was a porch light, and I thought, banging, I'll just take a permanent supply of that. No, it was just a switch cable. And then I saw the switch in the porch. I thought, brilliant, I'll just go off that if there's a power to that. No, it went to a junction box in the lad's bedroom. So I ended up taking his whole bedroom apart to flip the bed up, to move it all, to take one floor up to find a JB, to then change it to a maintenance. But it just was a faff. We ended up finishing that and going to another job that we had to sort of swing and get in place, because the guy was like, my plaster's coming soon. We've had an RSJ fitted. We've got 2 hanging down sockets, a hanging down light switch. Can you just drill them in, sink to wall? So yeah, no problem. An hour and a half max. Turned up, I just saw loads of X's in tape all across the room. I was like, what's this? Oh, we've me and the other half been chatting. We want 5 double sockets over in the lounge, 1 in the kitchen, and 2 in the dining room. I was like, I know, but we've just agreed, this was just going to do that. Yeah, but plaster's coming Friday night. Can you help us out? So me and Adam, I've got back about 6:30-ish, because we've been there chasing. I can't remember what I said now. We did about 8 new sockets, fixed back an old one, and redid all the lighting. I was like, Jesus. The money's all right. It's just, I was just like, I can't be arsed.
No, that's the problem, isn't it? It's like, you don't really get, well, you do, because you just go to your unit on Mondays and whenever you can't be asked. But sometimes when you can't be asked, you have to do it, innit?
This is it. And it would have only have let them and pushed the plasterer back and whatnot if I'd have made some excuse, which I didn't want to do. Me and Adam were like, neither of us wanted to do it because this morning went badly. It went not badly, it just didn't go to plan. But we've got it done, and tomorrow I think is I've not filmed anything this week. I've got a backlog of stuff up, but I try and film a couple of jobs a week. Monday I didn't because I was in the unit, but it was that cold. I ended up just going home because I finally got some gas as of yesterday. But it was colder in the unit than it was outside.
Yeah.
So I went home, did some paperwork. My other half was at home, so we were just, I think we were just watching telly. And Tuesday was with Adam. Couldn't film anything. I can't even tell you what I did on Tuesday, to be honest. That was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tuesday. Yes. Well, yeah, because again, we're doing Wednesday club at the moment, aren't we? Really?
Yeah. See, I can't even tell you what I did yesterday. Yeah, and then tomorrow moving the fuse board. If I can get a chance to film it, I will. But I think is so many of my jobs are so repetitive now. Like I'm starting another rewire next week, and all I'm doing now is filming stuff. Just filming stuff the same thing I've done before and try and twist it a little bit. But then at the moment, I'd rather just get the job done.
Yeah. No.
So
it's funny.
Yeah, I've got some things. Go on.
It's funny you say that because actually, I have I've got the run of the roost at the moment. Certainly this week, I could be doing films. It's just cause you know what? I sort of play with my Fat Sam channel. I put bits and pieces on there. I've got a perfect opportunity. I might actually do some filming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Get my old tripod out and my GoPro, and do some filming on.
How funny the GoPros look when you're on a. Have you ever put them on a big tripod?
Yeah, I've got one in the back.
It's just a little camera at the top.
Do you know what? Pound for pound, they've got to be the best camera out there, haven't they?
Do you believe it or not? You can't see them, they're all back here. So I've got all my expensive cameras and everything there. And a few people just, I wouldn't say question, but I'm not even moan, but just say we missed the GoPro because of the stabilization. Because recently on jobs, like I was flinging it around, and even I'm editing it. I was like, oh, that's a bit fast. I thought I'll try my GoPros again because I just got sick of them. I got sick of the audio. I got sick of it just randomly not recording and stuff. So I just bought very like expensive SD cards for it. The SD card wasn't half the price of the camera.
Wow.
Yeah. And I appreciate now when people say you need to get a good SD card because I've lost that much footage before, and they transfer the files loads quicker to the computer. And I've tried it, and I've stuck it's downstairs. I took my massive Rode mic and I stuck it to the top of the GoPro, so it's a lot better audio as well. So I'm giving it a go for a bit, but I'm teetering the idea of buying a Hero 10. Buying a new GoPro. And my dad said to me, "Just why?" I was like,
"Just why?"
One.
Why not? What are they on? 11, isn't they?
No, it's 10. 10's just come out. So I've got 7, 8, and 9. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you need. Well, you can't not have that one. Come on.
Anyway, but yeah. So it's just one of them things. I'm going to massive waves at the moment, filming loads of stuff, having loads of great jobs, and then all of a sudden it comes to a week or 2 weeks. I'm like, I've got nothing to film. But I have done a thing. I've looked at the emails earlier. So in a video that came out last week, I said to everyone, I did a lot of stuff with Jimmy from Plumber Parts, and he does plumbing disasters. I would like to do the electrical disasters. So people send me pictures of videos of what they found, some background information. If they can tell me what regulations are wrong with it, that I can sort of back it up with, link their channel, and I can just do like little 7, 8, 9-minute videos once or twice a month or whatever, and just say, this is some of the stuff that we're finding, this is what's wrong, and just a bit of extra content. If anyone's watching this and they have got some stuff like that, I'll keep talking. Everyone out there, if there is anything that you've got, camera footage, video footage, let me know. I'll get Sam to put my email address. It's a specific email address I created for it in the description. So send it in there, and let me know your Instagram and everything, because I always try and put it on the pictures when I'm doing it. Other than that, do you want to get into a few topics, Sam?
Samantha, that's a bit rude. I don't want to get onto the topic. Listen, I'm going to plug something that was sent to me this week, because people know about my love of knives. And I got hooked up by, sorry, I'm on my phone at the same time. I got hooked up by Quinergy.
I know, I can tell you're on your phone because the internet's going bad.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, let me come off that.
Yeah.
Right. Look at this. This is a hand-forged...
That's a knife.
Carbon steel knife, and it is handmade, hand forged, and let me tell you, it is so sharp. Like I literally cannot play with this because if I miss,
Have you still got your fingers?
because I need them to eat. There's nothing more precious in your fingers. But honestly, look at that. And he custom makes them. They're not expensive. They're really not. Go and check it out. It's Bevan C. Quinn at Glasforge. Listen, I'm going to put show note on the show notes. Go and check it out now on the show notes. I'll put a link to the knife maker. He is the official Monday Club knife maker, and we're going to be working with him to produce an electrical knife.
I don't have a knife, anyone. Just let you all know. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not allowed one.
Look at that. That is so sexy.
And that is a food knife.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it is, but I've been cutting my tomatoes with it tonight, and it's just like, you know, sometimes you can sort of squish tomatoes. It just goes.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't got anything to cut. It's not my house, but it's very exciting. You know me and my love for knives. Outside of that, what topics did I send you this week?
Hang on a second.
Because I can't
Sorry,
actually
mate.
use my phone.
Live ZS.
Listen, why are you on your phone?
Because your mom just text me.
Yeah,
Go on. Live ZS's.
she texts you to ask your mum to pass me back my underwear.
Not your poo stained underwear. No, thank you. It goes in the bin.
That goes straight in the bin, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know much about this. Still haven't done much testing. But on this note, I have been, well, I got gifted, as did you, a TIS tester. You're welcome. So at the end of this job that I'm working on now, I'll be doing all the testing. So I'm so excited to get my... Do you know what? I was pissed off today. I was on site and someone else had an MFT Pro.
Did they?
Yeah, just walking around with an MFT Pro. I'm like, go on, son. Welcome to the future. Long gone are the old megas. Get off your phone right now. Get off of it.
I'm on it.
Don't annoy me, as you won't get a knife.
What am I going to do with a knife?
Same thing I do with it. Look at it.
Yeah, I would. I'd just have it on here and just. Thing is, I just constantly play with things when we're like keep picking things up and putting it down.
But anyway,
yeah. Live testing. So Mark and Neil did a thing on their the Electrician Show, their podcast on YouTube and on.
I haven't heard of it.
Oh yeah, well I actually listened to it. So not the recent one. So they were saying is about live testing. Is it a necessary evil nowadays? You know, a lot of people doing it. I do it. You know, but you can also calculate if you want to get your ZS, you can do an R1 plus R2 plus your ZE. Calculation wise, you will get a very rough measurement of your ZS.
Rough or accurate?
Rough. I don't think it's very accurate. When you actually work it out, if you do both and you calculate it, then you actually do it. It's not really close, but you're allowed to, which I think is daft. I quite happily live test.
Listen, I'm not an expert at testing. I've been open and honest about this. I'm about to dive into the testing realms at the end of this job, big time. How dangerous is it to do a ZS?
Not dangerous at all.
How dare you? Like, are you? How do you safely isolate a circuit and test it at the same time?
What, to do your dead tests?
Yeah. No, you're live testing.
Well, you can't safely isolate.
Well, then it's not safe, is it?
Oh, okay. Right. That's where we're going with this. Cool. Your camera's going out of focus, dude.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. No, I get that people can calculate it because realistically, you have to do ZEs, you have to do your R1, R2s, and you've got all the you got the numbers there that you calculate it. And I just think it's a way of some people just getting the testing done quicker. Personally, we've always done it. I don't really see the harm, and it's a very simple thing. You got the plug adapter on your tester, or the light adapter, or drop a few fittings down. It's a very simple test. You don't need anyone sat at the board. You can easily go and do it by yourself. What Adam and I like to do with the you roll on R2s, is one person's at the board while the other person's going around the house testing, and we're just talking to each other. Like, it's very easy to do, but I don't know. Let us know, but I can't see why you would want to calculate it when it's such an easy test to do and get readings for. Sam's just trying to see why his face isn't in focus.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It doesn't help you in a perfectly white background.
No, it's grey.
Oh, it looks white on here.
And I thought I'd turn the light out. Is that better?
Yeah, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're in focus now.
Wow. How rough I look.
But yeah, that's all I have to say on it. Anything you want to say on it?
I say that it's probably, there's two sides to this story, right? So the way everyone has been taught up until now is to do your dead test and your live tests. That's how it's been taught since memorial. Now, what people are saying is, if there's a better way of testing where you don't have to put yourself at risk, then you should do that.
I can't see why you're putting yourself at risk, though. If you're a competent person who's qualified in testing, then you're not really putting yourself at risk.
I'm on board with that, and I think it comes down to this. It's a funny time. It's a strange time in any sector of the world, right? At the moment, you've got these real let's do good just to be good type mentality. Like, you've got a lot of this virtue signaling nonsense going on, and why take a risk if you don't need to? Like, you still got people walking around supermarkets with a mask on, not because they're vulnerable, but because I want to show that I'm careful too. That sort of mentality. I really don't vibe with that at all. I really struggle with that mentality. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that it's not for me.
Yeah.
And with that, I think that's spilled over to the electrical industry massively, with the sort of aftermath. So a couple of years ago, E5 were like the biggest thing in the industry, and they would promote the virtues of being morally and ethically correct. And everything you do should come from a moral standpoint, using the what was it called? The engineering council principles, or whatever it is, and whilst it's a great notion and it's a great thing to sort of always reference, it's a very hard platform to sort of sit at. It's like a pedestal that if you preach it, you have to sit at it. And what this whole not working live and all that sort of stuff is sort of a bleed over from that very morally, ethically correct way of thinking for electricians, which doesn't actually jive with real life sparking. You look at, like, yourself, you know exactly what you're doing when you're testing. You're not an idiot. You're not out there putting Adam at risk. You're not putting your customer at risk. You're not leaving the front of the fuse board off whilst there's kids running around it and they can reach it. All these little things that some people might do doesn't mean that you're doing it. Doesn't mean that a responsible electrician is going to do these things. You can't mandate a principle for the entire industry because of a few idiots.
I feel like the same thing when you see a kid's toy, okay, and you've got loads of bits of plastic comes in it. It says, "Do not consume this." Obviously,
yeah,
but then there's some idiot out there that has tried to eat it at some point.
Yeah. How many kids have put things up their nose and have to go hospital?
Or like that woman, is it the woman or the guy that decided to use Gorilla Glue in her hair? Yes, and got her entire hair, and she's trying to sue because it says do not. It just doesn't say on it you can't put it in your hair.
It's kind of, and it goes like this.
Common sense has just gone out the window.
What it is, it's this litigation society of, I'm going to sue you for anything I can.
Yeah.
Just to get a quick buck. It all plays into it, and you've got this sort of snowball effect. Well, not even that. You had a massive avalanche of this morally and ethically correct nonsense come down, which was sort of aimed at the very few. like targeted that whole industry. When the reality is, we all every industry since the dawn of time has had rogue traders. You can't account for them. Has had bad tradesmen. You can't account for that. Well, no, you can account for that. There's in any industry, there's going to be some really crap, dodgy people. Fact. But for most of us in the industry, we want to do a good job. We like that job. Like, we chose it. It's not something we're stuck with.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm an electrician. I've got to be an electrician for the rest of my life. Well, no, you don't. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So all these things factor into it. And I think that the ZS thing and working
live... What gets me about the ZS thing is, to do a ZE, you've got to do live testing anyway. You've got the board cover off. You're sticking it on the live terminal coming into the board. How is that any different for you doing a ZE? Sorry, ZS from a ZE. Do you know what I mean? At some point, you have to do live testing to get all of your measurements. So, anyway, that's for a conversation for a smart person like Mark. Not me.
With Megamind when you need him. But the reality is, I think with all this nonsense around working live and stuff, most of us, I'd say 99.9% of us who work live, listen, if I had to work on like an 11 kV buzz bar or something, I ain't working live.
Yeah, now I'm all right. Nah.
I'm out, completely out. I'm not playing with anything like that.
I'd like to have a go with the changing a main cutout. I think we should be allowed to take a course. I'm not so we can safely isolate stuff, but I would like to be able to one day change a main cutout, because I've watched loads of guys do it when we've called them out to upgrade it, or if it's broken or whatever. And it's interesting, you know, they got the flash guards on, they got gloves, they got the mats and everything. I'd look at it and go, I could do that. Like, I'd like to give that a go.
They're probably not even sparks.
No, I don't think they were. They've just done a qualification to allow them to do that.
It's funny, when I was working doing the big generators, the 11 kV generators and stuff like that sit at the bottom in the basement of a building and stuff. I loved that work. That was really, really class work. The guys who've done the HV connections, so, you know, the red cable, the red armors like that,
massive
to the thing. Them guys doing that, all they do is they do a course with the termination, like the people who make the glands.
Yeah.
They do a course with them people, and then you're qualified to terminate that gland. You don't have to have any prior understanding of, like, what do they call it? Foundation knowledge or whatever it is, of the electrical industry. You can just literally be a postman, go and do that course. Now you can do HV terminals.
Fair.
So it's a madness. Yeah, so that's my rant over, really.
It's a good rant.
Well, you know,
material/fuel. What does that mean?
Oh, mate, listen. Have you noticed the cost of materials gone up?
Yeah, constantly. Because I have to pay for them. You don't.
I don't have to pay for them, but I'm budgeting on jobs now, and I'm like, wait, when did Unistrut cost that much?
It's cable now. So Drummer 2, I'm just getting off the top of my head because Adam told me, because obviously with a wholesaler, when we're buying stuff, it does not labelled up. It's just what comes on your invoice or your statement. Drummer 2 500 meters isn't far off 65 quid now, I don't think.
Ooh. No, that's gone up.
Yeah. I remember when I become a Spark, I think it went far off 30 quid.
No.
Have a look. I'm gonna just Google it a second.
Google it. Ask the Lord Chief Justice of everything. When I remember last time I bought a bit of cable I bought a bit of 2.5 and 1.5, and I think 2.5 was the 1.5 was 25 quid. And I think Screwfix was the cheapest for cable at the time.
Jesus, Screwfix here, 2.5mm twin, £71.50 including. £71.50.
No.
Right, how much is 1mm? Because we use 2.5 and 1mm most.
Yeah, because you're cheap house bashers. Of course you do.
£37.50. That one far off 20 quid not that long ago.
This is what I'm saying. Mate. Like, the price of, like, I was talking to the ceiling the ceiling guy today. Now he does uni-strut ceilings because what they have is they have like in what I'm doing they have like a um it's gone out of my head. They have a
Sorry, bro.
steel frame like stills, and then you have a ceiling mounted off of those stills made out of uni-strut.
Right.
So like the deep uni-strut, basically two 41mm uni-struts welded together, and he makes a ceiling out of that. Now he buys 6 meter lengths, and they was a year ago 45 quid. They're now £80 a length
Each 45 quid each.
each. They're £85 a length now. In a
It's like the price of wood now and ply. And I see a lot of it on TikTok with the Americans saying it, like the cost of ply. But I had it just before lockdown. I bought loads of sleepers for the garden, like railway sleepers, just because we were in the garden. And obviously lockdown happened. And all of the shops sold out of them when they all came back. I pay like 24, 5 quid for a railway sleeper. And now I don't know about now, but in the shops when they came back into stock, there was 66 quid or something like that for the same one. And this was like at the space of 3 months apart.
I mean, I bought a bit of 2B2 the other week, right? Just one length, 3 meters. It might not even be 2B2. It was 2B2. I was doing something. I needed 3 meters of it, and it cost me £8 or £7.50 or something. And I said to him, "What? Like, I know it's only £8. Like, relax." But and he's like, "Yeah, it's gone up. It's doubled. It's doubled this year." Like, because I thought it'd be about a fiver,
Yeah.
and it's £8 now. And he's like, the cost of shipping containers, the cost of fuel, and the cost of China buying everything.
I had to put some fuel in yesterday, and Adam went, "Oh God, it's £1.50. I think it's £1.53 at the one I went to." And I've always said to him from day one, I'll go to a petrol station. I don't care where it is.
No, I don't.
Services, and we've had this conversation before. And he would say no, he doesn't care. He just said it's a lot. I remember when I started driving, I think it was just under £1. And oh Christ, how long have I been driving?
Well, I remember the days when it was like 65p.
Really? Yeah, I've been driving 11, 12 years now. And when I started driving, diesel was way cheaper than petrol.
Yeah.
Way cheaper. And how it's changed around now because everyone wants a diesel car.
The other day, I was on the phone to Mark, and I think I was coming back from Exeter, where I'm working at the moment, and I was on the phone to Mark, and I was like, "How much is petrol these days?" And he's like, "Even though I get a fuel card, it don't really bother me, but you're still looking at it." And he goes, "Oh, I paid 169.9 the other day," and I was like, "Leave off. Where did you buy that from?" Remember, it's
Jordan's house.
yeah, it's more expensive on the motorway.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was on the motorway on the way back, and I pulled in, and I was like, "Oh, it's £1.69 in there." Like, £1.69.
That is bad.
But
they're trying to, like we've said before on the Conspiracy Podcast, they're changing the fuel over at the moment, or the E10 is it?
Yeah.
Changed it over because they told everyone, and they have now because they had to admit it, that it's going to start eating the fuel lines and breaking the engines of the older cars because they want them off the road because they're high on emissions. They want to bring electric cars in sooner and all this sort of stuff. I can't remember where I was going with the conversation, but to be honest,
there is an element of, I want to say, fuckery.
Yeah,
there is.
There's always an agenda behind it.
Listen, no one's looking at them prices and thinking, "Wow, it seems fair."
Yeah. I was telling Adam, he was like, "How do they get the price of fuel?" And I was like, "Well, realistically, the government are in a lot of debt right now, and as and where they can scrape a couple of pence off each individual one of us, and that equals out to be millions in a few days, they will. They'll put the prices of fuel up. They'll put the prices of electricity and gas up because they can. They're necessities that we all need to buy, and we don't have a choice to pay it."
Do you know what? This brings me on to my next topic, which is pretty fascinating. Again, thank you to Mark for this topic. his boy Matthew went into a job today, and
Oh, I saw the picture on Instagram.
see the picture. There's more to the story. We'll chat about that in a sec. And someone had they'd obviously been tapping into the supply and then pulled it out. So they'd been bypassing the meter. Now with the price of electricity has gone up massively, massively to the point where I'm like, I've noticed it. I'm not. We sort of grew up in well, I certainly grew up in a generation where my dad would be constantly going on about turning off light bulbs, turning off the kit because the light bulb was 100 watts and all this. That's when we had 100-watt light bulbs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I swore to myself, I'm never going to worry about stuff like that because it's a minor. You have to pay it, just get on with it.
Yeah.
I turned off the hot tub. I'm like,
yeah, that sucks. That does.
I'm like, that's costing too much. Can't afford that. And I'm starting to find myself turning stuff off, even though like we've got LED lights that you could leave on all day and you wouldn't notice.
Every light in my house is been converted at some point to LED, so I'm not that bothered. As and when they do it, I have said to the kids, not to the kids, to my other half, where with all the Connect switches, at some point, if they keep doing it, I'm going to just fit a Connect receiver the other side of the fuse board on the light and feed. So if they piss me off or we leave the house and look at the house and go, oh, for fuck's sake, just bang off. Yeah. I could see him trying to walk in and turn the lights. My lights broke. I was like, I'm gone now.
Yeah. Brilliant. I've got one of the Connect switches on my outside lights.
They're good, aren't they?
So good.
Sorry, going back to bypassing the meters.
Bypassing meters, I think it's
naughty and you shouldn't do it.
I think it's going to become a regular thing.
Do you think?
I think with the fact that you've got these rising fuel prices, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there in the dark with no power, or are you going to bypass the meter?
I know what you're saying. It depends what situation you're in, but what are the consequences to doing it? Because I don't know.
Probably not a lot. Like, honestly.
Slap on the wrist, don't do it again.
For the first time, you probably have to pay they'll probably calculate what they think you should pay.
You should have used, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have to pay that, and you probably get a criminal record.
I remember watching one of the Rogue Traders years ago, where they got the Mick, the handyman from down the road, and you pay him 50 quid cash and he bypasses your meter, and they recorded him going into the basement, yanking it out, sticking it live into a Henley block, and then obviously they tried to catch up with him afterwards and interview him. He just raced off, but it was like, annoyingly, it's so simple to do, especially if you have the smallest amount of knowledge with it. But this is where the smart meters come in now. With any tampering, they know straight away. So
but they do, but if you don't have a smart meter, no one knows, do they?
Yeah, I know. And to be fair, even with the smart meter, and I'm not condoning this, and people that don't want to copy what I'm saying, but
no,
it's very simple. You can easily just put either pokes, like we've seen before, cables up, or even these new products that are coming out now. Have you seen the taps for EV chargers?
Yeah.
You screw one of them into the live, you then connect it, screw it into the other live.
Done.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, what we meant to do. It's not
on electricians to worry about.
It's not, but we can report. If you see, you have to report it. If you've seen it. No. To Western, to your local authority. So we would ring up Western Power and say this meter's being tampered with, and they would come out.
I would not.
I would straight away.
I wouldn't.
Make a great YouTube video.
My business.
Great YouTube video.
It's not my business.
Oh no, I'd make it my business.
No, I'm out. Like, listen, I can't work in your property because you've obviously messed about. I'm not going to say nothing, but I think you should fix that. And then I'm out.
That's fair. If they offer me a brew, maybe I won't.
Yeah, listen, give me a drink and I forget all about it. I'm out. No, we're not condoning that behaviour on this podcast. No. What we're saying is... the
problem is the risks that come with it. If people don't know what they're doing, and no one should know what they're doing with tampering with meters, but if people don't know the risks, you could easily set your house on fire.
Easily set your house on fire, number one. Number two, the person fannying about with your electric... no self-respecting electrician is going to mess about with someone's electrical installation.
They know the consequences and they know how dangerous
It's
it
not
will
going
be.
to do it. It's too much of a risk to the people living, to your reputation, to everything goes into it. No one's going to mess about with it. So the person you've got doing it might have done 1,000. He just got lucky that nothing's gone wrong yet.
He's just destined to happen. But obviously, a lot of the time when meters are bypassed, it's when people have got grows on and everything, isn't it? Where they're using a lot of juice.
Yeah.
And they're even the worst ones because they're pulling so much current. And let's say they bypass it with a bit of 2.5 mil. It is just going to end in tears.
I've seen that. But what I'm saying is, a lot of people, like old people and stuff like that, I can see this becoming a bigger problem going down the road. I can see it becoming a bigger problem because the rise in fuel costs.
Well, you got to think as well. You gas boilers are going to become extinct in the next 10 years.
Gas is going out the window.
And then we have to pay more for electricity on top of everything else. And then all the conversions we then have to do when gas is no longer, to everyone that's got gas boilers and more juice, more electric and more EV chargers and more solar, and everything wants more juice and energy. And our grid system can't take it because it's another kettle of fish.
Well, this is a thing. Obviously, there's a new building regs are coming out where they're not going to be taking gas to new builds, new build houses. That's a problem in terms of electrical. Listen, electrical companies know what time it is. They're like, yes.
Rub their hands together, I know.
Yeah, they're like, yes. So what we can do is we can double our bills, and people. So what we do is we double our bills. What we do is we push them up a little bit at a time until they're almost double, and we turn around and go, "You're still better off because you're not paying gas anymore." Yeah. You know that's what. Listen, that's just business. That's business, and you see, like going back to the petrol prices, which is funny. I remember when kind of feel old saying this. I remember when. It was creeping up to £1 a litre for unleaded.
Uproar.
It's creeping up. And I was like, once it goes over £1, they're never going to go below.
No.
And it did.
People will get used to paying it.
And soon, the next target
The £2
will be £2. And then what do you do then? Like, it's like £2 a litre.
Yeah, I think that's when we all go, I'll get an electric car. Oh.
Yeah, but if you had the opportunity, if you had the choice right now, Ford F-150 Lightning or Raptor?
F-150 Lightning.
It's just it.
Mate, let's say this quietly. Me and Adam went to a burger van today for lunch. I got cheeseburger with onions, delicious. Anyway, it's outside the burger van for the company that this guy works for. He had a 14-plate F-150. And obviously, I've got a Ford Ranger, which is a big truck anyway. If you were to put that next to the F-150, mine looks like a Mini. It is tiny.
Yep.
I couldn't I'm tall. Most cars I can see on top of. My van, I'm probably about that far off seeing on top of the roof. Tiptoes, no problem. This car was like this tall. The bonnet was enormous. And I said to the guy in the burger van, because he knows who it is, I said, can I just have a look in the window? He said, yeah, sure. So I've looked here and I was like, obviously steering wheel's on the wrong side because it's left-hand drive. The dashboard, it's one where you could have like a bench. You could have 4 people sat in the front, which is mint. But this one had a key code on the driver's door, just below the handle. I was looking at it thinking, maybe it's just if you forget your key, you can use it straight in. And he said, yeah, well, it's one of them things where each individual code has settings. So let's say if my other half, she's 5'2", 6'3". If I go in there with my code, set the seat to my setting that I want at with the steering wheel and everything, when I get out, she then puts her code in to get in it. It will all adjust for her, back to her settings.
Nice.
I was like, because I said this with my car, with the Ranger, when either of us drive, it's a nightmare. Like, because I have to change the seat completely, and so does she. Is why haven't we got a little button on the seat where mode 1 for me, mode 2 for her, or vice versa?
For sure.
But But this car like adapts everything for you from one driver to the next, and it's a 14 plate. I was like, they've got this. But to anyone that doesn't know what a Ford F-150 is, it's like the American version of a Ford Ranger, but like enormous.
Yeah, they're a different level. American all over.
I want one so bad because they're not that
I would love
expensive, but they're left-hand drive, which so I'm not interested.
Embarrassingly, talking about changing seats for the car, I have to adjust mine slightly because Amanda has got long legs.
No.
She's 5'8", but she's got long legs. So she laughs at me when I'm like, she's like, shame. And I'm like, no, relax. She's just got long legs. Relax.
Yeah, you should see the difference between the difference when we have to move the car. I'm like over a foot taller than Will are. But then Ford have released, I think it's like 6 months ago, their Ford Lightning F-150. So it's a completely electric truck. It's even bigger than an F-150 lengthwise. They have literally the entire base is a slab of battery. So it's the most powerful battery vehicle created so far. And it's one of them ones where they've got storage in the front because obviously it's electric, there's no engine. They all have 240 outlets, like 4 or 5 in the back and the front. When you get home, when you want to charge it up, I think the spec was when I watched the video, if you have a power cut, you plug it into your house, it will backfeed it and you can have your electric on for 3 days of normal usage before it goes flat. I was like, I want one.
Excellent.
I want one.
If you lived in Hurricane Alley, there's a place called Hurricane. Well, it's across 3 or 4 states in America where they get Tornado Alley.
Tornadoes, yeah.
Tornadoes. You're sweet. You'd have one of them all day long.
Yeah, it's that heavy. It would never get lifted off the ground anyway. Just leave it.
Sure. I don't know what the range is on them though.
It was very good. But what Ford do, what Tesla don't. So I watched. Do you remember who Marcus Brown is?
No.
He's a massive YouTuber. I watched his little documentary on Peter McKinnon. Peter McKinnon is a massive F-150. He has an original, I think it's a 1963 F-150. And the video, he put it next to the Lightning. And the Lightning obviously looked massive, but this F-150 was still huge anyway. And they were comparing the two. Tesla will tell you, off the top of my head, let's say, if you drive this, you will get 450 miles, okay? But Tesla top spec it, so perfect weather conditions, the right temperature for the batteries, a backwards breeze, downhill, you'll get 450. So Ford, with all their trucks and their electric stuff, they will say you will get 370 miles, but that's like the worst case scenario. So most of the time, if you've got that's with the load on as well. So if you've got it's an empty truck, if it's good working conditions, the same as the Tesla on the best day, it almost will outperform most electric cars because what they say is what their range is the basic model, which I think is really cool, little marketing thing.
Mate, that's awesome. But you have to thank Tesla.
Oh, I love Tesla stuff. If I had the chance to buy a Tesla tomorrow, I would, honestly.
You know what? Finishing on this bombshell, Tesla are bringing out a phone.
I've got some. It might not happen. It might not happen. But I had a phone call a while ago about a Tesla. So you know the Cybertruck?
Yeah.
I know a guy who knows a guy who has another YouTube channel. No one that we all know. And he worked at the guy's house, was the managing director of Tesla in the UK. And they were looking for influencers in the trades to go out and test F-150s for work. And he said, oh, my mate, and I know a guy who knows a guy that's got a Sparks channel that could use it for this. This is his YouTube channel. And that's what's been left off at the moment. So I might, fingers crossed, could be not given, but I mean, loaned one for a few videos to test out a Cybertruck before going to work in.
Mate.
How cool is that? I wasn't meant to tell anyone, but never mind.
But what I'm saying is, Tesla,
they're going to rule the world.
Yeah. And on that bombshell,
it's been lovely speaking to you, mate.
Monday Club, we're out.
Bye.